on the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield. This is the Fight for Iowa podcast, brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy, proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Big Ten Conference. Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Shields, we're right there with you in Des Moines, Sioux City, Iowa City, and Cedar Falls. University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. This is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Iowa wrestling is ranked third on the first coaches poll of the season. North Carolina State has wedged itself in between Penn State and the Hawkeyes. Half the top 10 are from the Big Ten, and Iowa State is 10th. The Hawkeyes dominated Cal Baptist in its only duel to date, but jumps into the fire starting this weekend, hosting Oregon State Sunday, then traveling to Ames for the annual Cy-Hawk collision with the Cyclones on November 26th. The Hawkeyes won all 10 matches with Cal Baptist and then captured 8 titles in the elite division at the Luther Open. Iowa coach Tom Brands joins us on this week's Fight for Iowa podcast after this timeout.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at UIHC.org.
Get in the game with Hawk Talk. Join Coach Kirk Ferentz and host Gary Dolphin for 90 minutes of Iowa football talk. Wednesdays, 6:30 to 8 Central. Listen live on the Hawkeye Radio Network and Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube channel. Presented by View Rooftop.
Something big is happening. Introducing HiVe Perks. Now, HiVe Fuel Saver is HiVe Perks. Get the same great benefits like fuel savings. Plus, save even more on hundreds of products store-wide with HiVe Perks prices like Tide, H Perks price $9.97, and bananas, H Perks price 39 cents a pound. Make the switch or sign up for HiVe Perks and start saving today. It's free and easy. Some restrictions apply.
Now back to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Iowa wrestling brings in 10 newcomers this season, including 4 high-profile transfers. Spencer Lee is on to the next stage of his career with the Olympics next summer. There are familiar names returning, like Drake Ayala, Lee's replacement at 125 pounds, 3-time All-American and top-ranked Real Woods at 141, Brody Teske at 133, and Jared Franick, the North Dakota State grad transfer, ranked number 2 at 157 pounds. In his 18th season as head coach, Tom Brands has had rebuilds before.
We got to figure out who our best guys are. We've always said the best guys find their way on the mat, and that's where we're at right now. It is early. The good thing about going to California is we put our best team on the mat at that time. I think the eyeball test always wins out. Attitude, work ethic, who's trying to score, who's working to get better, who's living the right lifestyle. And I'm not talking about today, I'm talking about 6 months ago, who's staying consistent in the ready state of mind. So,
Tom, you do have Drake Ayala back after a lengthy absence of injuries, but I'm sure knowing how his fire burns, he can't wait to get back out on the mat.
Yeah, and he won a tough match at in California, and that's what we want to see. He hasn't been on the mat. He hasn't competed in a while, and so he's getting back in there, and he's cut from the cloth that he's been wrestling since he could walk, so he's gonna pick up very quickly where he left off, even if it was a long time ago. But grass doesn't grow under his feet, and that's what we love to see.
Coach, you brought in a handful of transfers, some very high-profile transfers, some that you're going to build and to mold the Iowa way. Tell us about the new group.
Yeah, I don't know if we're molding them in the Iowa way. I think they came in the Iowa way. These guys are self-starters. They know where their best wrestling is. They stay in good position. They're smart wrestlers. They do the things that favors them. They're in an environment that they've embraced. This portal, beginning of May, we got some really, really bad news, and we had to hit that portal hard, and it was late. And so it worked out. We used the NCAA rules to our advantage. We got Voinovich a transfer. We got Mikey Caliendo and Jared Franek from North Dakota State transfers. Vic Voinovich is from Oklahoma State. And all three of those guys are helping us and will continue to help us.
Coach, Ben Keeter, got to ask you about Ben. He's on the Iowa football team right now, a heralded recruit in multiple sports, including wrestling. And I watched your press conference last week. I like what you said about the young man. You're looking forward to getting him out on the mat after whatever bowl game Iowa plays in. But beyond that, we know what he does as a football player. Tell us about him as a wrestler, what you love about his approach.
We love that he believes in himself wholeheartedly. We love that he embraces challenges. I love that he's determined to be the best that he can be every day. The biggest thing is as he goes forward in this endeavor, that he is committed to one until the end, which is football now, and then when he comes over here, he will be committed to us until the end of the season, and then he can go back to football, and I think that's the way it's going to work. I think I also said during the press conference, and a couple different times I've said it, where I think Kirk Ferentz has said it very, very well and said it the best. This was never about like a challenge put in front of Ben Keeter where, hey, can you do this or not, or how tough are you? This is an opportunity for Ben Keeter, and it's something that he has embraced himself, and that he has seeked out the challenge himself, because you know what? He did pretty doggone well in high school at a high level in both sports. So who's to tell him that he can't do it? And you know what, Ben Keeter, go do it. Go take the world on it in your own way. And that's what I love about it. We got a lot of partnership there, and family, football, Ben Keeter himself. His teammates love him here. He's a world champion, a 20 and under world champion. So this guy has proven that he can do it at a high level.
And there's a precedent at Iowa, which is the pinnacle of wrestling and a great, strong traditional football program. I think of Mark Sindlinger. I think of Tom Rusk. And I know I'm going back to the 70s and right on through to present day. It can be done. Ben knows that.
It can be done. People say, well, it's a different day, it's a different day, it's a different day. But you've never seen a guy that was that heralded of a recruit, in the blue chip realm in football, that was a 20 and under world champion in the U20 in the world championships. And a guy that has competed at the highest level consistently his entire life, basically, in the sport of wrestling as well. So great tribute to the family, where he comes from, how he's been raised. And you know what? A great tribute to Iowa football.
Let's conclude, Coach, with a word about the new facility. Man, every time I drive by here, I get goosebumps and get fired up, and the blood starts to boil in anticipation of what this will do for Iowa wrestling. But it's scheduled, I think, for a spring 2024 opening. That's coming quick, 6 months away.
It's coming quick. It'll probably be done, and then they'll work the bugs out before that. But there's no sense in moving in the middle of the season, so when our season's over, we'll move in. We raised nearly $30 million on that facility, and it is a little bit a self-serving statement to say that, and a slap on our own back, but we did it, and we raised every penny. And we had great partners in it with the athletic department, the leadership, Gary Barta, now Beth Getz, Kevin Collins at the foundation, his staff, but most importantly, our donors. And there's, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7-figure donors, and 2 of those went big. And that's how we got it done. And that's how you do it. It's top-down leadership, and it's going to be great. Every time that we walk in there, you can imagine there's a lot of fanfare. So we do a lot of tours through there. And every time we walk in there, there's project, and there's a lot of pride with that construction crew that's working on it. And I keep shouting out to McComas Lucina construction and Justin Wainwright and Philip Kepler. But they are top-notch, and they truly are top-notch because not only is it just that they're good construction people, but they're good Hawkeyes, and they're good people, and they're hardworking, and they're conscientious. And they're putting the grade A+ stamp on this thing, and it's going to be awesome.
Iowa finished 15-1 a year ago, 7-1 in the Big Ten. Its only setback to national champion Penn State. The Hawkeyes finished second at nationals and at the Big Ten meet. Back in a minute.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
You don't have to go to the game to get a game program. You can download it now by visiting the Game Day page on HawkeyeSports.com. That's right, the game program is now digital and it's free. So check it out. Get the roster, the stats, and fascinating stories about today's matchup. Just go to HawkeyeSports.com and click on Game Day.
Hey, Hawkeyes fans, it's time to gear up for the season, so let's do it right. Jerseys, hats, hoodies, and more. Shields has everything you need to show your Iowa pride. Visit our fan shop online or in-store for the biggest and best brands in the game. You'll find the right gear to level up your team spirit with all the essentials for your pregame parking lot party. Shields, proud partner of Iowa Athletics and football fans everywhere.
Are aches, pains, or injuries keeping you on the sidelines? At Athletico, our movement experts are here to help you turn your setbacks into comebacks and create a personalized game plan for your recovery. With no prescription or referral needed, Athletico Physical Therapy is where your comeback story begins. Get started today by scheduling a free assessment at athletico.com. Proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Upgrade game day with Hawkeye Village. Get game tickets, pregame extravaganza, all you can eat, drinks, and more. Perfect for groups or families. Limited availability. Call 800-424-2957 or email group-sales@hawkeyesports.com. Join the Hawkeye excitement at Hawkeye Village.
Now back to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hawkeye football defensive back Cooper DeJean will miss the remainder of the football season after suffering a lower leg injury in practice this week. One of the nation's top players, DeJean is a finalist for the Nagurski Award and a semifinalist for the Thorpe, Lott, and Bednarik honors. DeJean played over 400 snaps at cornerback without giving up a touchdown and led the Big Ten with an 11.5-yard average on punt returns. We wish Cooper the best in his estimated 6 to 8 week recovery. Sophomore Drew Stevens is a semifinalist for the Lou Groza Award, presented annually to the nation's top collegiate kicker. And now this important word from our sponsors.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/fan of corn.
Now back to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Here's wishing you all a happy and blessed Thanksgiving holiday, and thanks so much for listening to our weekly Fight for Iowa podcasts, brought to you by UIHC, Iowa Corn, Shields, and Athletico. I'm Gary Dolphin. Go Hawks.
You've been listening to the Fight for Iowa podcast. Hawkeye fans, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Once you become a Fight for Iowa podcast subscriber, you'll automatically receive the latest episodes of the Fight for Iowa podcast, the Hawkeye Women Rise podcast, Hawk Talk replays, exclusive game content, and more. Until next time, on Iowa and go Hawks! The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.